Susan, how did you find carnivore?
Well, initially I saw Dr. Berg talking about keto, and so I'd been doing intermittent fasting for some time, and had some success, but everything always came back as soon as I stopped eating. But my symptoms weren't going away. Then I came across. I had a really frustrating day, and I'd been watching Carnivorous Me, Amanda, on Carnivorous Me. Unfortunately, she's not doing it anymore, which is really a shame. And I had a really bad day. I dropped my son off at the Dayton Air Show parade, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go in for this carnivore thing. So I stopped at Aldi on the way home and bought myself a ribeye steak and some Irish butter, and I just deep dived into it.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
That was 2 years in July,
Right.
last
Oh,
July.
wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So was it just kind of you were thinking of doing it for weight loss, or were you thinking, was there
Well,
other
and
health
also
issues?
I have a couple of autoimmunes. I have something called Ehlers-Danlos. I was diagnosed actually with. I was only diagnosed with that about 9 years ago. Um, I have dislocated both my shoulders hundreds of times, and I'm not exaggerating. Um, and I have a problem with my foot where the tendons have stretched across the ball of my foot. It's called plantar plate tear, and the tendons stretch, and it causes the ball of your foot to swell. And I got so good at putting my own shoulders in. That's terrible. I could dislocate my shoulder and put it all back in by myself. So that caused a lot of pain. I was in pain. It felt like your arm was dropping out of your shoulder socket all the time. And then also I have all sorts of I have all sorts of colitis, but I'm in remission. And asthma, and then being overweight too. I had to have both my knees replaced 10 years ago, and that was because I broke both of them in a car accident when I was 17. So I had really bad arthritis. My knees would swell up like balloons, and I just couldn't see. I'm also allergic to everything in Ohio. It's called the Sinus Valley for a reason, and I didn't know that when I moved here. But I'm allergic to maple trees and birch trees and cedar trees and every pollen and dust mite, the two sorts of, and there's a whole list. And I was just fed up of being so overweight. I mean, I was over 100 pounds heavier than when I moved here. And I had 15 pounds to lose after having my first son when we moved here. And that was from fertility treatment. So I was my ideal weight when I moved here, but I killed to be that weight now. But I was just so fed up with myself. I mean, I hated anybody taking a photograph of me. There's no way I would have done a live stream, because I hated how I looked. I still don't particularly like how I look on camera now. I had a photo taken this morning in a group for an award, and I was like, "Ooh, gotta get on it again." So anyway, so as I say, I dropped Matthew off at the in Vandalia for the Dayton Air Show parade. I stopped by Aldi on the way home and got myself some grass-fed ribeyes and some Irish butter, and then that's how I started. And I didn't. People kept telling me I lost weight, but I hadn't weighed myself. I deliberately didn't weigh myself, but then I had to go to the doctor, and he weighed me, and I had dropped over 30 pounds in the first 3 months.
Oh, wow. And so you had some weight loss. Did you notice anything else improving? Like,
Mhm.
do you no longer
Yeah,
dislocate your shoulder or?
the symptoms from my ulcerative colitis went away, and the symptoms I didn't have any shoulder pain, no shoulder pain, and my foot. I had been going to a foot doctor, and he was giving me cortisol injections into the ball of my foot, and I hadn't had to have any more injections, and I haven't had any since.
Wow, that's a massive thing. Yeah, because you don't want the steroids being injected all the time, right?
No,
Um,
and also something else I have noticed is that I lived on painkillers. I lived on ibuprofen and Tylenol and Aleve, and I hardly ever take one anymore.
oh, that's
Occasionally, if I
fantastic.
have a sinus headache, I can tough it out now with my sinuses. If I use some saline and do a saline rinse, usually, an hour after I do that, my headache's gone completely anyway now. So I don't hardly ever take tablets anymore. I take a boatload of supplements, don't get me wrong.
Um, so how has your eating been over the last two and almost a half years?
The first year I was really good. I've been trying, it's hard. I have one son left at home. And so he was trying to eat low carb for a while. Then Christmas came and blew his low carb. Um, and so there's sometimes I've cheated a little bit, but I always regret it, because um, like for instance, I do make bread for him because then I know what's in it. And I buy Italian flour because it's non-GMO, it's got no pesticides in it, and it's got a lower gluten but higher protein. And so that way I can control what he's eating. But occasionally I would have a slice of toast, and it gave me a false sense of security because I had no reaction. So, like, the other thing I do is I will make him pizza dough, make him a homemade pizza, and he loves it so much he won't buy pizza from Domino's or Pizza Hut or anywhere else anymore because he says he prefers mine. So I last about 3 weeks ago I made pizza, and I did a little personal pan size pizza for me, thin crust. No, can't eat that much pizza. My ulcerative colitis symptoms came back almost instantly. So and also I've had friends take me out to dinner, and we'll get Outback Steakhouse, and so they bring the sides. So last time I went out, I took the sides, but I took them home because I just got a Caesar, a salad, side salad, a double one, and I took it home to my son so I could
Yeah,
just eat the steak.
right. So, right now, like you're basically eating steaks every day.
No, I eat a lot of ground beef. So, like I will, the Sam's Club here, they have these prime rib sliders. So I just make them into meatballs. I just put some salt on them and make them into meatball. Sometimes I will throw in like a little tiny bit of Parmesan cheese because I can tolerate Parmesan because it's really a really hard cheese. I made meatballs for Matthew too, but I put some Italian seasoning on it that I'd made. So I cooked it in different sides of the air fryer, so I kept mine completely different from his. So I make meatballs with that. I made him marinara sauce. I didn't have any because tomatoes make my arthritis come back. I can't eat nightshades whatsoever. People are shocked, but I've had loads of people say to me as well, "Oh yeah, tomatoes do the same thing to me," and so I stay away from that. Tonight I'm going to have some grass-fed burger patties with some fried eggs. So
Nice. So you mentioned that tomatoes make your arthritis come back. So, um, it, even after you had the knee replacements, like you still had arthritis there.
yeah, because I broke my knees when I was 17, and I was basically walking on bone on bone. I had nothing left. I'd completely worn my meniscus out, gone. It was gone. And I'd gone to see the knee surgeon when I was 55. And he said, there's nothing I can do for you. The insurance companies won't touch you. You're too young. So he was giving me cortisol shots, and then my family doctor was, and they just weren't working. I couldn't walk more than a quarter of a mile. I couldn't sit long. I couldn't stand long. My knees would swell up like huge balloons. And so a friend of mine was and former candidate, because I used to be a recruiter, was a program manager for Zimmer implants. And I was talking to him one, and he used to tease me saying, "Oh, I have a spare set of knees in the garage for you." And I said, "I've got to look for a new surgeon." And he said, "Well, ask him these questions and go to somebody who specializes in sports medicine." So by that time I was 59. No, sorry, hold on. I wasn't 55. I was 50. Sorry, when I first went, because I was 55 when they did the knees. Sorry, I'm aging myself. And I went into this doctor locally, just down the road from where I work now, actually. And they x-rayed me. They put me in a room. He walked in. He was looking at the folder. He looked at me, looked at the folder, looked at me again, looked at the folder, and then looked up and said, "There is nothing I can do for you except total knee replacement surgery, and I have to do both of them at the same time." He said, "And I thought you were way older than you actually are." And he said, "If I don't do your knee replacement surgery now, you will be in a wheelchair by the time you're 60. And he said, there's nothing. And he said, even when I do the surgery, you're still going to have arthritis. Not as bad, but you're still going to have arthritis because you've been walking bone on bone for years." So,
Right. And that his prediction there came true, but since you've been carnivore, has that lessened?
oh yeah, I mean, actually, it's funny enough, my left knee's been playing up a little bit lately, but nothing where I have to take any pain pills. And I do have a friend who's a doctor, and she has a machine called a beamer, which it's an electromagnetic pulse machine. And what it does is it increases your blood flow. And so it in the capillaries, not just your arteries and your veins, but in the teeny weeny capillaries that make up 75% of your blood system there. And so she will use that on me, and then it'll go away. Pain will go away. So it's really good. It's FDA approved. They even use it on racehorses to prep for races and recover afterwards.
Oh wow. So how are you kind of sticking to carnivore? What keeps you on? Is it the reduction in pain? Is it just how you feel because you lost weight? What is it?
Well, yeah, it's the reduction in pain, the symptoms from my ulcerative colitis, and the symptoms from my Ehlers-Danlos. I said I have cheated a little bit in the last year, which has not been good because it's stalled my. And I was watching a live stream with Jen Mann and I've forgotten the name of the doctor, Lisa, last night, and I'm not eating enough. So I need to increase my protein and my fat content. So, because I usually do OMAD. I've never been a breakfast eater. Even as a child, I was really sick when I was 8 years old in New Mexico. I got typhoid. And ever since then, I could never eat breakfast. So, but I did used to eat lunch. But I just find OMAD's easier for me because if I eat lunch, I get really peckish by the time I get home. It's like it starts me off, and that way also I'm hoping that the doing OMAD will help with the autophagy as well. So, and I'm not hungry during the day. I drink a lot of water and I drink black tea. I know I probably shouldn't because of the oxalates, but I'm half English. I have to drink tea. I don't drink as much as I used to. In fact, I had tea on subscription orders and it's drastically reduced now. And then I drink Element electrolytes, and I like the lemonade flavor, so I drink that one.
Right. And so at this stage, you're trying to increase to more than one meal a day.
No, I, I think what I'm going to do is I need to cook as soon as I get home. Instead of sitting down and having a cup of tea and relaxing, I need to cook straight away, and I need to eat more. And I think I'll be fine. Um, I did used to carry cooked bacon with me everywhere when I first started, so maybe I should eat lunch. And I did. I remember I prepped lots of hard-boiled eggs, and I love hard-boiled eggs, so that's not a problem. So maybe I should, but if I'm going to do that, I might not eat it at lunchtime. I might eat it closer to home time, so that my eating window is still really short.
Yeah. So has anyone around you kind of said, well, you're looking better. What are you doing? Let me try this.
Oh, loads of people. In fact, I have in my email address a prepared email that talks about Dr. Berry's keto guide and a link to it. Then I have a link to him talking about um, statins. Then there's a link for Tony Hampton, a link for Anthony Chafee, a Dr. Westman, Kerry Mann, and then and also the link for the oxalate list that tells you what, if you're going to do keto, what fruits and vegetables are high, medium, or low oxalates. And so I send that out maybe at least 6 or 7 times a month to people.
Okay. So there's interest out there.
Yeah, and my son actually came to me last week and he said, because he had been working in our warehouse because I was a very cruel mama and I made them work while they were getting their degrees. And I told them they weren't allowed to get any school loans at all. And so, but he now works at the local community college in their drone department. And so he's not doing as much physical labor. So he's been gaining weight, and he's a big boy, which is surprising because of my 2 sons, he's the one that ate more fruit and vegetables. My other son is skinny. He's 5'6.5", and he says he's 158 pounds, but his high school suit and sports jacket and pants, which I had to get from the children's department from Macy's when he was 120 pounds, are too big for him. He does work out, so he's got a lot of muscle. But he doesn't eat any fruit and vegetables. He lives on bread, cheese, and meat. And potatoes.
Okay.
And so, like, if we go out for steak, he has a steak, and then he'll have 2 potato dishes. Whereas Matthew will have a steak and salad and vegetables, and he's the heavy one. But he asked me if I would help him cut his carbs down. So, like, normally I would have made the meatballs and given him spaghetti, meatballs, and marinara sauce. He just had a bowl of meatballs with half a cup of marinara sauce on it. So
Yeah. Okay. And is he noticing much of a change? Like, is
it's
he
only been
feeling
a
a bit
week.
better?
You know, I've got to get him into the habit. So, like, he still likes. I'll make taco meat for him, and he'll eat that with sour cream and some guacamole and some cheese, and he'll use some tortilla chips. I get organic ones, and he can have one serving, which is 17 grams. So,
Right. So if a friend came to you and said, "Okay, I want to give this a try. I'm willing to invest 90 days in carnivore. How should I start?" Based on your experience, what tips and advice would you give them?
well, I think maybe, I mean, I'm an all or nothing kind of person. And so I went head first into carnivore when I was fed up. To be fair, I've been doing keto for a long time, but it was cheater's keto, really. I wasn't really, and I was doing the intermittent fasting. I would send them Dr. Berry's list and tell them to watch Dr. Berry's videos. I also tell them about Dr. Berry's live stream on a Monday that they can join in. And and then I would say be prepared to be tired the first couple of weeks. Because I had a friend of mine who did that in Chamber, and she gave up because she was tired. And I went, I didn't tell you you'd be tired. You need to up your electrolytes and because if you do that, then you won't be so tired. And that's it. And also, people are worried about my blood pressure, because I'm eating all this salt. I went, no, my blood pressure's gone down. And I said, it's when you're eating the salt that's got the maltodextrin in and things like that, you need to have a pure Celtic sea salt or a Redmond salt, or a Himalayan salt. And I buy Redmonds, and I buy organic, and I buy sea salt and kosher salt. But I have make sure that it doesn't have any. But usually I just use Redmonds, and I have I went to a conference with Kerry Mann and Adam Lacey, and Dr. Kiltz was there, and Dr. Nelson was there, and so I haven't been on vacation. I really couldn't afford it, but I went for the VIP option so that I got to go to dinner with them afterwards. And part of the gift in the gift bag was a little salt shaker, little thing of salt.
Oh, nice.
And it's on my key ring. So, in fact, the boys, we went out to dinner on Saturday because it was my younger son's birthday, and he wanted to go to a Korean barbecue place, and they do the ramen pots as well. And so I just got I got the miso one because the gluten-free version was just boiling water. So we did the pot and the barbecue. So that was good because basically I was just eating. I did beef tongue. There was prime rib. There was brisket, and some lamb. And the boys did some seafood, and they had the ramen noodles and things. I didn't have any of that. And then we did the barbecue that we cooked in front of us. And again, I just ate beef till my heart's content.
Yeah,
But
those
needed salt, so I used up most of my. I need to refill it.
right. Yeah, the Korean barbecue is really good for carnivores. Yeah.
I know, so it makes a nice change because usually what we do is we go to a steakhouse of some sort. There's an independent steakhouse called the Buckhorn Tavern not far, and it's very rustic and old in there, but their steaks are delicious. So we usually go there, or we get an Outback or somewhere like that.
Oh, nice. So Susan, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any social media or any way of getting in contact?
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't put it on my link here, but I'm on YouTube, UK Lady, as it says, USA UK Lady Meat Hills is me. I only have 2 videos.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming back on. I'll include your link in the show notes.
Lovely.
Susan, I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I have to say, I love watching your videos. I learned so much.